Welcome to Top 30. I'm Kristen Smith.
And I'm Richard Bacon, and here are your top 30 stories in 30 minutes.
J.D. Power and Associates have released their U.S. vehicle dependability study of the most reliable used cars from 2015. They collected data from nearly 40,000 people who have owned a 2015 model car for at least 3 years. The study was broken up into 19 categories, with Toyota taking the top spot with 6, while GM came in second, taking 5 categories. The 2015 Toyota Prius was found to be the most reliable compact car. The 2015 Chevy Malibu was the best midsize car, and the 2015 Kia Rio nabbed small car. When it came to SUVs, the 2015 Chevy Equinox took the compact category, while the 2015 Mercedes GLK won most reliable compact premium, and large SUV went to the 2015 Ford Expedition. An interesting note from the study, technology in the vehicle like Bluetooth connectivity and voice recognition continues to be the most problematic issue. But overall, vehicle dependability has improved by 9% since last year. That's the first time it's increased since 2013. For a full list of the most reliable used vehicles, visit our Facebook page at Top 30 TV.
Let's go to the New York Stock Exchange for our Fox Business Minute with Jerry Willis. Jerry, I am hearing there's a new perk that comes with Amazon Prime.
That's right, Richard. Amazon Prime member perks just keep on rolling in. Amazon announcing that it will give 5% back on whole food purchases made with Amazon Prime Rewards Visa cards and 3% back for the non-Prime version of the card. And a 29-minute commute between Washington, D.C. and New York City. Well, Elon Musk wants to make it a reality with an East Coast Hyperloop. The billionaire's Boring Company, yeah, that's the name of it, receiving a preliminary permit to begin excavation of a site in D.C. Right now, it takes over 3 hours on Amtrak to get from New York to D.C. And why didn't the chicken cross the road, Richard? Well, because Kentucky Fried Chicken was closed. The fast food giant temporarily closing hundreds of restaurants in the UK after a logistics error halted chicken deliveries.
Jerry, this is an outrage. How many stores did they have to close?
About 800 of the company's roughly 900 locations in Britain were closed as of midday Monday, but the company is now tweeting out that almost all of its stores are back in business.
Jerry, that is good news. Kristen, you have a story about strollers and injuries.
Yeah, Richard, the U.S. government is suing Britax over their Bob jogging strollers, claiming certain models have caused more than 97 injuries, including 50 to children. Injuries include concussions, contusions, and abrasions, dental injuries, and injuries to the head and face that require stitches. Britax defended their product in a statement, saying the stroller is safe when used as instructed. And singer Fergie was criticized for her rendition of the national anthem during Sunday night's NBA All-Star Game. She released a statement saying in part, "I love this country and honestly tried my best." And finally, bride Melissa Roger got stuck in an elevator on the way up to her wedding reception just 4 feet shy of the 18th floor. She missed the cocktail hour, but firefighters were finally able to pry those doors open after 45 minutes. Definitely a day to remember.
The life of Olympic athletes is often far from glamorous. Several competitors from this year's Winter Games talked to NerdWallet about their struggles with money. The US Olympic Committee pays athletes a stipend for 9 months, but they have to place in the top 16 in a single event the year before, so a wrong move can spell disaster. Speed skater Midge Whitmore says, "You slip or just have some little thing go wrong, and it's hard to eat for several months." That leaves some athletes working part-time. Bobsledder Chris Kinney worked in social media marketing. Cross-country skier Sadie Bjornsson used to work as a nanny. Crowdfunding has become popular as well. More than 1,000 athletes this year started campaigns on GoFundMe. Others get local sponsorships, like Stacey Cook, who's sponsored by California's Mammoth Mountain ski area, where she hosts fundraisers and other events. There aren't that many jobs that involve that much discipline, that much effort, that much sacrifice across your entire life and pay so little. When Canadian firefighter Danny Philippidis called his wife from Sacramento, California, he'd been missing for 6 days. He was still wearing the same ski gear that he had on the day he vanished from Whiteface Mountain in upstate New York. When authorities arrived, Philippidis was carrying a new phone, and I think that's a crucial detail, $1,000 in cash, a credit card, no ID, and had little to no memory of how he ended up across the country. The authorities have been very clear that they do not believe he was drugged or kidnapped, right? They put out that statement. So I would say his wife is going to have some tough questions to ask him. That's just a feeling.
Oh, yeah.
Tough questions.
I agree. This is a very bizarre story, huh?
Yeah. Fascinating.
You know, he had a fresh haircut. It's not a good haircut. I mean, we can't
I love you for reviewing his haircut.
Very
right.
likely possibility of aliens.
From his wife's point of view, that might be like the best outcome.
I was going to say.
You're a married man, you've got a second phone and a new haircut, and you can't remember. That's right, I can't remember.
He does remember one small detail, and that's riding in a truck.
Yeah. For his sake.
Yeah.
I hope it's the aliens.
Alrighty, a PR agency is on the receiving end of a flood of backlash after apparently rejecting a woman's application for the role of account executive. Here's their reason. They say she wasn't right for the job because she's not a man. Carla Forcada posted the response from Impulsa Comunicación on her Twitter, which says, "We are currently in the selection process, but we are looking for a guy because the role requires working with accounts such as Carglass and Coca-Cola. And believe me, they need a man to be able to deal with the day-to-day, the visits, knowledge of production, etc." This gives me goosebumps a little bit because I am so offended by this. There's something like this in this day and age would even exist is beyond me, as if a woman couldn't have an understanding of production, day-to-day, and communication. We have no clue about that sort of thing.
Quite right.
Yeah, I think it's very offensive. I think everyone who sees this story is going to think it's very offensive.
I was agreeing with the...
Stop it. This is
blowing
up in their face, too.
Well, except I understand your outrage, but I actually think there is an essential truth here, which is this is how jobs are cast. And I'm not saying it's right, but quite often a boss will say, we need a woman, we need a man, we need a young person, we need a black person, we need a white person, we need that. It reveals a truth. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Here's a statement from Coca-Cola which says, "We have an inclusive, diverse and egalitarian recruitment policy. We regret to see our name related to this discriminatory and unfortunate response."
What shocks me about this one is it's PR. You know what I mean? In fact,
my point is, I think it is everywhere.
We're better communicators than you guys anyway.
Now, that's sexist.
That's so true, though. Well, here in Los Angeles, we know a thing or two about water conservation. But Cape Town, South Africa is facing the reality that they're running out of water. And a campaign to encourage conservation is getting a ton of criticism because of its terrifying mascot. Now, this mascot's name is Splash. And here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a close-up here. I mean, the eyes. And I think the smile is especially creepy as well.
It's always just cheap, isn't it? Look at the horrible green top. I mean, but I guess the message here is, you know, water is essential to existence.
Right.
You need to frighten people, Kristen.
Yeah.
You need to remind them that this is a serious matter, and therefore they have put out there a tacky and terrifying mascot.
Okay, so it's really a brilliant scare tactic.
Absolutely brilliant. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Top 30. You know, in response to the shooting in Parkland, Florida, a lot of people have been expressing very deep anger at current gun laws and current gun legislation, and not least students. On President's Day, demonstrators lay on the ground silently in front of the White House. As one mother said, our kids are coming after them for change. And I do think there is much that is fantastic about this.
Yeah.
But the only problem with this is that I don't know how you get through to the people in the White House and the people in Congress and people in the Senate, because if a teenager with an AR-15 killing children isn't enough to get them to change gun legislation, then a load of young people who they will just see as lefty students lying on the ground, I doubt they're going to get through to them either.
Maybe and maybe not. You'd hope. The hope is that they will get through. And you know, Richard, when I looked at these young people laying on the ground, there was something about this protest, to me, that resonated more than others I've seen, just because they are so young, and just laying on the ground gave me so many goosebumps. Yeah. Honestly, it very sobering and powerful.
Look, there's going to be a protest on April the 20th, 19 years since Columbine. Now, that's a long time ago, and almost nothing has changed, right? Almost nothing. It's not harder to get guns now than it was then.
But you have to keep hope alive, though. You have to keep hoping, because otherwise, what are we doing? You know what I mean? We have to.
I agree.
All right, how about this story, you guys? More mothers are using crowdfunding to pay for their maternity leave because because it's not covered by their employer. Just 12% of employees in the United States have paid maternity leave. That is a very tiny number, 12%, which means many women have to make a very difficult decision. Either bond with their child or make a living. And that's a tough position to be in, you know, as a mother. Those days in the beginning, those weeks in the beginning, are moments that you'll never get back. Like, they're so special and they're so crucial. So women are crowdfunding, GoFundMe, different, you know, You Caring, different sites that are helping them raise money because they have no other option.
In the United Kingdom, you get long maternity leave. You get 39 weeks of paid maternity leave. The first 6 weeks, you get paid at 90% of what you get paid normally. And your job is held open for a whole year. A whole year. And in that time, if you've got any pay rises in that time, you would still get them. Any holiday accrued. The UK has a model that is vastly different.
The whole world does, though.
All of this proves, quite simply, Kristen, that the United Kingdom is better.
I knew you were going to say that. Top 30, I'll be right back. In today's Hometown Stories from Fox 11 LA, students from several schools came together for the Best Buddies Prom. Best Buddies is a nonprofit that pairs teens with intellectual and developmental disabilities with general education students, forming friendships and creating lasting memories. This year's theme was superheroes, and everyone dressed to impress as they enjoyed pictures, dinner, and, of course, dancing.
It means a lot to me. Like I never had a friend like this before.
Our next story from Fox 46 Charlotte. Tim Spalding and his guide dog, May, went on an outing to enjoy some art, and it's all thanks to a new app. The Beckler Museum of Modern Art and the Metrolina Association for the Blind joined forces to release Blind Square. It's an app that allows the visually impaired to navigate a visit to the museum.
2 o'clock woman grasshopper.
It means the world. I mean, I like getting out, I like going places, I like doing things.
The museum is the first building in Charlotte to use the technology. Our final story from Fox 10 Phoenix. Rosie and Frank Ortiz returned home to find a broken drain had flooded their house.
The insurance sent me some angels, and they are angels.
Arizona Construction and Restoration decided not only to repair the damage, but also to provide some major upgrades to make their home more elderly friendly. An upgrade the pair desperately needed, as Frank is currently in the hospital recovering from a stroke. A veteran of the Korean War, ACR sees it as a token of appreciation for Frank's service.
A new pocket-sized device can help detect heart attacks in just 5 minutes instead of current blood tests, which can take up to 6 hours. An Israeli doctor developed the at-home kit, which can be used if a patient feels chest pain or shortness of breath. To use it, the person just pricks their finger and adds a special liquid to the blood. The special liquid checks for 2 types of proteins that are released after a heart attack. If a person did suffer a heart attack, the blood will split into 2 lines. Developers acknowledge the test is not 100% accurate, but say it's key because many people wait hours, sometimes days, before seeking treatment, not realizing they have had a heart attack. So far, the device is available in Europe and Israel, and the creators say they are now working to introduce it here in the United States of America, where heart disease is the leading cause of death.
A popular dining concept in Japan has made its way to the States, and big cities are quickly catching cat fever. Here to fill us in on this growing trend is Coco Dominguez from Fox 26 in Houston. Coco?
Thanks, Kristen. Let me introduce El Gato Coffee House, otherwise known as Houston's only cat cafe, where coffee and furry friends are all in one place. The first cat cafe opened in Taiwan back in 1998 and was a major tourist attraction. Soon, Japan adopted the concept and perfected it, opening up cat cafes all across the country. El Gato in Houston, the cats are up for adoption, but until they find a permanent home, they serve as therapy for customers looking for a cup of joe and some cuddles. The owner says cats are known to lower stress and high blood pressure, so the goal is to make you feel better, and the cats aren't complaining. An area of the cafe was renovated to fit their needs. They call it catification, and the room was designed so the cats never have to touch the floor. The cafe was super clean and smelled great. I loved the concept, and I had a great time. Kristen?
Well, I can see why it's catching on. Thanks, Coco. Research done at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte found that more than 40% of burglars said the presence of security cameras would make them target another house, which is why we've got today's top 30 solution, Wi-Fi doorbell video camera at a special 64% discount. The wireless doorbell video camera is easy to install. Just mount it on a wall, download the app, and then sync it to your Wi-Fi doorbell video camera so you can access live video from your phone. The PIR motion detection and loop recording pings your phone whenever any motion is detected while the camera starts recording. It also features two-way audio with noise canceling, IR night vision, and its ultra-low power technology allows it to work regularly for 8 to 12 months or on standby for more than a year. The Wi-Fi video doorbell camera retails for as much as $249.95, but today you can buy it for just $89.99. That's about a 64% discount, and you can get this right now at luluway.com while they last.
The clothing industry is one of the last to make the leap to automation, partly because sewing machines require people to handle the materials, but that is slowly beginning to change. Jason Bellini has more in this week's Wall Street Journal Moving Upstream report.
Across the globe, 60 million people toil in the garment industry. It offers the poor job opportunities they might not have otherwise. The Journal visited garment factories in Bangladesh. They employ more than 3.5 million people.
I would visit factories in Dhaka where workers would work manually to make sweaters while automated machines would also work to do the exact same thing. And I would ask the workers, are you afraid that your jobs will be taken away by the automated machines? And they would say, yes, we're scared.
Some countries could lose 80% of their garment, textile, and apparel manufacturing jobs. Richard?
Thank you, Jason. And you can watch the full story at wsj.com/upstream. People are looking for love, but at what cost? According to law enforcement, online romance scams cost Canadians millions of dollars last year, to the tune of about 17 million. The scams often start on social media or online dating sites, and after gaining the trust of the victim, they get access to their credit cards and bank accounts, or even ask the victim to commit fraud for them. RCMP Sergeant Guy Paul LaRock said they're asking the victim to help them out. That emotion invested is what makes it successful for scammers. More than 1,000 cases were reported to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre last year, and that's likely only 5% of actual cases. LaRock says most of the money is never recovered either, because by the time a victim realizes what's happened to them, it is too late to reverse the transfer. Authorities recommend using caution when looking for love online, especially when money is involved. As a rule of thumb, if someone emails you and says they fancy you and then asks for help financially, let it go.
If someone looks like they're sick, they probably are. Cody Goff, host of the Curiosity Podcast, joins us from his studio with more. Cody.
Thanks, Kristen. Science says you can trust your instincts. You really can tell if someone's sick just by looking at them. In a brand new study published this year, participants were injected with either a placebo or infectious bacteria. Not a study I'd like to sign up for. Their photos were shown to a much larger group of people, and that group was able to guess whether the people in the photos were sick or healthy most of the time. So what does a sick face look like? According to the study, pale skin and lips, droopy eyes and corners of the mouth, a puffy face, red eyes, and the appearance of fatigue. The biggest giveaways were pale skin and drooping eyes, so if you're trying to dodge a bug, then stay away from anybody who looks gross. The researchers say that in the future, they like to pinpoint early cold and flu warning signs so people can stay home before they get too contagious. In the meantime, trust your instincts. Back to you, Kristen.
Well, hopefully the earlier you catch the warning signs, the quicker you can get over your sick face. Thanks, Cody. A Muslim-American woman made history by fulfilling her dream to become a television news reporter. Theyre Rahman works for the local CBS station covering cities on the Iowa and Illinois border. The station she works for says she is the first full-time reporter to wear a headscarf on mainstream TV in the U.S. Rahman says she's tried for years to get a television reporter job, but was repeatedly turned away. Many of her colleagues in TV news told her she would have to remove her headscarf if she ever wanted to be on TV. But her mother convinced her to keep trying, and that eventually someone would give her a chance. She hopes her struggle will open doors for other women who are trying to achieve their dreams as well. Coworkers had a huge surprise for a single father who walked 11 miles round trip to get to and from work every day. Trenton Lewis said he would do anything to provide for his 14-month-old daughter. So for 7 months, he walked hours to UPS each morning to make his 4 a.m. shift, while eventually another worker found out about his daily journey and decided to do something about it.
Present you with this helping hand.
That was Lewis's coworkers presenting him with the keys to a car. They raised $2,000. Lewis was stunned and thanked his colleagues, and his first ride was to pick up his daughter and go get something to eat. Hey, Richard, what's coming up on our next show?
Kristen, we're talking about cars. Automakers are trying to fit more cup holders, and one car may hold the record, and this dog helps survivors of tragedies in an unusual way. Top 30 also covers more of the day's stories live on Facebook daily, 9:30 Pacific, 12:30 Eastern, all coming up on the next Top 30.